Welcome aboard the BK Escape Pod. That's right, it's the augmented and bionic podcast version of the live show you can hear Saturdays from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. Eastern on 100.3 FM and AM 1450 WBHF Radio. You can stream the show live there Saturdays at WBHFradio.org or on the free Tunein app. Look out, here we go.
Brought to you by Best Foods, makers of Skippy Peanut Butter, Golden Griddle Pancake Syrup, Mazola Corn Oil, Mazola Margarine, and other fine products.
Love podcasts? You'll love Podcast Magazine, taking readers into the lives of today's leading podcasters and beyond the microphone of the shows fans love. Each month, Podcast Magazine's dedicated writers share personal interviews, industry happenings, exclusive categorical charts, and independent ratings and reviews of under-the-radar shows. If you listen to podcasts, subscribe now at podcastmagazine.com and grab a free lifetime subscription while you can. That's podcastmagazine.com.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
No, there's just there's too many things going on. There's too many movies being re-released this year because of their anniversary, Fathom events. I've got, gas prices are going up. I got a trip to take in September. I don't know. I may have to go get a loan from the bank and finance some of these things this year I want to do because there's just too much stuff I want to do. I'm going to drive to Orlando, Florida to go to Universal in September, and then when we're done for 3 days there, we're going to drive to Panama City and stay 3 days there and then come home. But we're driving the whole way, and I'm like, how much is gas going to be in September? I don't know if it's going down, but I don't know. Maybe I'll find a way to try to go downhill the whole way and just coast. Is there a way I can do that with the laws of physics?
I need someone to loan me a Tesla for a week.
Will the laws of physics allow me to do that? I don't know if I can go downhill the whole way. I don't know if it's possible. Maybe I can, and someone told me when I was a kid, if you get right up behind a tractor trailer and you get right up behind them and they're doing like 60, 65, 70 miles an hour, if you just get right up on them, their air will hold you in the back and you'll get great gas mileage. And but the problem is, what if he slams on his brakes?
Right. See, you got to weigh that risk-cost. It's called cost-risk analysis.
Right. So you might go, is it worth doing it to save money on gas? I wonder. It depends on how high gas gets.
At this point, I'm going to pull a Bo Duke, get out there and get my belt on and attach my front end to the trailer hitch and let him just tow.
Did you just make a Dukes of Hazzard reference?
Yes, it's hazardous to reference the Dukes.
It's hazardous. It is nowadays, isn't it? It's hazardous to
stars and bars, man.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Hey, it's BK on the air. We may have a call already coming in. The show is just warming up. I'm just warming myself up here. Still kind of cool, and we got a caller online. Let's find out who it is. Hey, it's BK on the air. Hello.
That person, another person's calling. Maybe they thought you hadn't picked up.
I don't know what's going on here. Well, let's try it again. Hey, it's BK on the air. Hello.
Hey, BK, it's Mike.
Mike, man, from Channel Star Wars. How are you doing? Are you at home today? Or are you on the road?
No,
again?
I am in, I don't know where I'm at.
You know what, Mike? Neither do we.
Mississippi, I think.
Mississippi, Mississippi. You're in Mississippi. All right. Yeah, you're traveling all around. You were actually in Georgia not too long ago because you texted me.
Yes, I was. I went all the way down past Orlando.
Well, let me guess why you might be calling. You might be calling because there's a certain Star Wars film that's having an anniversary today, and you might want to call in and weigh in on it. To me, it's the best Star Wars film that was ever made.
I'm not one of those people that think that's one of the best movies, but...
Hold on. I think there's something wrong with the phone line.
Yeah,
I think
we're losing the call here. What's going on? Can't hear him. What's going on? Are you on a handset? Or are you on a speakerphone?
I'm on a headset.
Oh, okay. You're coming in kind of tinny. I can't hear you. Can't hear you really close. I got to really pump up the volume here. So
there's rules for truckers.
Wow, that's amazing. Which Star Wars film is your favorite, Mike?
Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Well, you know what? You were a little younger than us, and Jedi made a big imprint on a lot of kids growing up. So, yeah, I can see that.
But Empire Strikes Back was the first movie I saw in the movie theater.
Well, that's kind of special. That's nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I really remember the big AT-AT walkers, and I was blown away by that. And I think that right there made me really like knowing how they do stuff.
Oh, the special effects, yeah. You know, even to this
Special
day,
effects.
I know it's Phil Tippett stop motion, but I'm glad that's one of those effects that Lucas didn't go back and go, oh, I got to replace these walkers with CGI. Because it's still, I watch that now, and to me, the walkers are real. I love it.
Right. I mean, and you see the behind the scenes on how they did it. Those things are maybe 3 foot tall.
Oh yeah, they're not that big. They had different sizes ones depending on what they needed to do. Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I left the theater as a 14-year-old thinking, wow, that was a lot of bad stuff happened, but I think that's actually better than Star Wars. I can't believe that they made a movie better than the first one. But you're right, you can't have Empire Strikes Back. Alan and I were talking about how it's a near perfect film, but it's just near perfect because there is really no ending to the Empire Strikes Back. It's open ended, and because there is a third one called Return of the Jedi. Episode 6,
Right.
I'm sorry. That makes Empire the film that it is because you know there's a third act coming.
Well, I think the reason I like Jedi so much is you know that I'm a big Darth Vader fan.
Oh, that's right, you are.
And there's more Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi than there is in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I guess there might be, but you know what? I probably have to think that Vader, for me, maybe is a little more evil in Empire Strikes Back.
Of course.
Than Jedi.
Yeah.
Because, again, he's redeemed at the end of Jedi. Of course, that we knew it was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But everything, John Williams' score to The Empire Strikes Back, I remember getting it on 8-track when I was a kid, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, before, I didn't even have the soundtrack to Empire. I had to go over to a friend's house, take my cassette recorder, put it by his speaker, because he had it on record, and I had to record it from a speaker to a microphone, which meant it was a mono, crappy recording. But you know what? That was better than nothing, or I would have had nothing. And loved that 117-piece orchestra John Williams used for that soundtrack.
The days of old school piracy.
It wasn't it? Sharing the music, you know. It was my buddy John C. Napster who helped me have that. What was his name?
Was that his name?
He was just a kid back then, so yeah. No,
I've actually got a 12-inch vinyl in the mail on the leg.
I'm just kidding. Well, you know what? I'm glad you called in. We're about to go to a break here, but I'm glad you called in to weigh in because I figured you would since you love Star Wars so much.
Yeah,
but,
good to hear from you.
But it's a great movie.
I set an alarm, so I knew to call you.
You set your alarm. That's what I do to take my pill. So my iPhone saves me from everything. Appointments.
Take my pills.
Appointments, you know, if I got to stop off and do something, it always reminds me.
Appointment, high blood pressure.
Right. All right, buddy. Well, thanks a lot, and may the Force be with you.
You too, Barry. Thanks, man.
Be safe out there. Bye-bye. Mike Mann checking in. All right. I set my alarm on my phone to do several things. It's just without my iPhone, I don't know what I do because people are like, I forgot to do so and so, and even my mom did it. I'm like, Mom, you have an iPhone. You can set an alarm or a reminder so you won't forget to do X, Y, Z. You know, just remember that. So that's okay. We'll forgive him if he likes Jedi better than Empire Strikes Back.
Some people love
okay,
their teddy bears.
Well, in Empire we have the Ognaughts on Bespin.
Yeah, but they don't look like teddy bears.
No, they don't look like teddy bears. They're not little pigs.
They look like little things. I'm like, yeah.
And we learned a little more about them in The Mandalorian. This is, I have spoken.
I've spoken.
Nick Nolte, our favorite Ognaut. You like the Ognauts better than the Ewoks?
I find them a little more believable.
Ognaut ought to do that. Yeah, you get a little older and you're like, those Ewoks, those are just guys in suits because their eyes are glass. The closer you look at the Ewoks, the more fake they are. But I love Return of the Jedi.
Teddy Ruxpin.
It's the Empire Strikes Back anniversary. We got more coming up, too.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Yeah. Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. And Burger King comes through again with our all-new Empire Strikes Back glasses. Collect a different glass for your family each week. Darth Vader, R2-D2 and C-3PO, Lando Calrissian, Luke Skywalker.
Buy a regular-sized Coca-Cola at a special price and build your collection.
All new, the Empire Strikes Back glasses. Only at Burger King.
Okay, Eunice, travel plans. I need to be in New York on Monday, LA on Tuesday, New York on Wednesday, LA on Thursday, New York on Friday. Got it?
Got it.
Got it. So you want to work here. What really makes you think you deserve a job here?
Well, sir, I think on my feet I'm good at figures and have a sharp mind.
Excellent. Can you start on Monday?
Yes, sir, absolutely, without hesitation.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And in conclusion, Jim, Bill, Bob, Call, Fred, Load, Dork, Abe, and Ted. Business is business. And as we all know, in order to get something done, you got to do something. In order to do something, we got to get to work. So let's get to work. Thank you for tuning in the meeting. Petey, you did a bang-up job. I'm putting you in charge of Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, perfect.
I know it's perfect, Peter. That's why I picked Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's perfect. Peter, may I call you Pete?
Call me Pete.
Pete.
Aren't you glad there's one company that can keep up with it all?
You got to feel good. I'm putting you down to deal with Dick. Dick, what's what's the deal with the deal? Are we dealing? We're dealing. David's a deal with Don, Dork, and Dick. Dork, it's a deal with Dave, Dick, and Dave. Don, it's a Dork with Dick, Dave, and Doug. Gotta go, Dave. Disconnecting. Gotta go, Dick. Disconnecting. Gotta go, Dan. Disconnecting.
Federal Express. When it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight.
It's okay if you don't understand what he's talking about. He probably doesn't either. It's BK on the air on AM 1450, FM 100.3, and online using the Tunein radio app.
Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. Rock and roll and the British invasion was prevalent in the 1960s, even on some of our favorite TV shows. The Beatles had successfully demonstrated comedic acting in A Hard Day's Night. Yet another British musical act also showed off those same skills on American TV, specifically the soft rock duo Chad and Jeremy. In 1965, they spoofed the British invasion as the Redcoats, Freddie and Ernie, on the Dick Van Dyke Show. They also performed on the Patty Duke Show, taking on the character names Nigel and Patrick. Wonder why they didn't go with Chad and Jeremy. In an episode of the comedic Western Laredo titled That's No Way, That-A-Way, they played the lead characters in an unsuccessful spin-off for a show of their own. They then played themselves in 1966 on a Batman episode. In that one, Catwoman steals their voices and then puts them up for ransom to the British government. Acting aside, they enjoyed true musical success, reaching number 7 with their hit Summer Song and amassing a total of 11 other hits in the top 100. So, Chad and Jeremy were indeed early examples of crossover TV pop stars. This is Pat McCormick with your retro TV trivia from the Golden Rage of TV. You can also find me on YouTube and Facebook at Golden Rage of TV and on Twitter at Golden Rage of TV1. And now back to BK on the air.
Thank you, Pat McCormick, for that trip into the Golden Rage of TV. We always appreciate it here every Saturday on BK on the Air. By the way, check out Pat's YouTube channel. He's got a lot of stuff going on out there where he interviews a lot of people about Golden Age of television and his own brand of entertainment, which we all love. Somebody else is calling right now. 770-386-1450 is our number. WBHF. Hello, who's this?
This must be Pat McCormick.
Well, speak of the devil, and he calls up on the phone.
Good Love morning. You guys and miss you. I'm only halfway through my first cup, Barry.
And Alan's halfway through his first dozen. Yeah. Sitting here.
Not quite that many.
I'll be catching up soon.
Good. Well, I think I may know why you're calling in this morning.
Well, today is the first ever CroftCon happening in Orinda, California.
That too, right. Sid and Marty CroftCon.
Yeah, the first ever. And it's going to be amazing. And guess who I'm going with, Barry?
I have a good idea of who you're going with. Does his first name start with a D?
It does.
Wow, you're going with
Mr. Dave Sundstrom
from the good stuff.
YouTube Titan.
And he is a Titan, that's for sure.
But, yeah, we finally get to meet in person. The only thing that's missing is you and Alan. But
well, yeah, I mean, I know it would be a lot more fun if we were there. And I really is Deirdre Hall and the Electra Woman and Dinah Girl going to be there?
I don't believe so.
Oh, I sure would like to see them.
I do know Butch Patrick.
From the Munsters and Lidsville.
Christopher Knight, Johnny Whitaker, and Sid and Marty themselves.
They will be there. That's amazing.
Oh, cool.
You know, Sid and Marty Krofft they were second to me only to Filmation. I loved Filmation Productions and Sid and Marty Krofft. What good stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be special because they're actually bringing HR Puffin stuff, the original costume.
Oh, the original costume with boots and everything.
Yeah, so hopefully no little kid will come up and kick me where they shouldn't.
In the shin. Would you ask them a question if you see them from me?
Sure, Barry.
Would you ask them what exactly were they doing when they were sitting around the table when they thought up HR Puffin stuff? I would like to know. A giant orange dragon thing with a Mayor McCheese head, kind of from McDonald's, and white cowboy boots on. I want to know what they were doing at that table.
I do know from the interviews I've heard in the past, they strictly deny any sort of substance involvement.
Oh, okay.
In their creative process.
And a magic flute that talks.
Look at how they do this. They deny all substance abuse.
Right.
They would never abuse it because it's too expensive. They use it moderately.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Substance use.
Substance use, but we wouldn't abuse it.
Well, so is that today? You said? Are you going today?
Yes.
Well, okay, so is it a 2-day thing, or you guys going there today and then coming home?
It's a one-day event.
One-day event.
I'm assuming you'll photo document it, put it out on the Golden Rage of TV, Facebook, and everywhere else?
Smoke signals, everything? Yeah.
Absolutely. And,
cool.
You know, if there are local listeners, I do know that there's still tickets, amazingly.
Wow. I totally forgot you were going to that. I thought you were calling because of the Empire Strikes Back's anniversary today. Do you remember going to see that for the first time?
I do. As a matter of fact, my daughter graduated last night from college, and we went out to dinner directly across the street from the old 1930s theater that I saw the first Star Wars at. Waited in line 3 hours. You know the whole drill.
Oh, heck yeah.
That's how long I've been in this town, Barry. Time to go.
Right. Right. Well, what a sequel, though, man. We left leaving the theater going, wow, that was better than the first one. How often does that happen?
Exactly. Let me throw my 2 cents in here on Empire. It wasn't he was big on the ending. I wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But that's only because I was a glutton.
Well, we discussed that without not knowing Return of the Jedi was coming. If that hadn't been the case, it would have been a horrible ending, but we knew there was going to be another movie, so that's what made it great, yeah.
Exactly right.
Well, good, yeah. And shake Dave Sudstrom's hand today and tell him hi for me. And you guys have a great time at the Croft Con. And while we still got you for a couple of seconds here before we go to a break, tell everybody where they can find you out there if they want to learn more about the Golden Rage of TV.
Well, you got to go to YouTube and look up Golden Rage of TV. And also on Twitter at Golden Rage of TV1. I'm on Facebook.
Really?
Facebook.
I understood what you said. I got you.
He's listening to Toccata and Fugue. It's Facebook.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
There, and look for Dave Sundstrom.
Yes, I will. And thanks to both of you for having me on both of your live YouTube videos here recently. And I was on the Retro Serial just the other night, too. So thanks to knowing Dave and Pat McCormack, I'm making more retro buddies out there. It's great. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I love ENC. He's really good. He's really good. Up and comer. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Talk to you soon. You too. Bye-bye.
Adios.
He's going to have a great time at the
Croft
Con. He's going to have a good time, I can guarantee you. I did see. Do you remember Electra Woman and Dinah Girl? The Sid Marty Krofft show?
Just barely. Like, I'm aware of them, but never really watched it.
They were like the total flip side female Batman and Robin, basically is what they were, but it was shot on like that videotape look as a kid, and I watched them, and as a kid I'm like, I really love this show, and I don't know why. I mean, they're beautiful. I was just getting to where I was noticing girls, and I recently saw a picture of them just a few years back doing an appearance, and I'm like, they still look incredibly beautiful. What painting of themselves do they have in their attic locked up? I want to know. Or do they have a great plastic surgeon? They don't look like, you can tell plastic surgery sometimes. They didn't overdo it, I don't think.
Some people that get so addicted to plastic surgery, they start looking like cat people.
Or the Joker.
Or the Joker.
Because I was convinced at one point, if they couldn't...
What's with the goofy look on your face? Life's been good to me.
What's with that stupid smile? I thought, had she not passed away, if they couldn't find somebody to play the Joker and Batman, Joan Rivers could have done it. I mean, I'm serious. It was pretty bad. Have you seen, was it Jack Nicholson's ex-wife? The girl he was married to was in Ice Pirates. Angelica Houston, remember her?
Oh, I knew Angelica Houston.
Have you seen her lately?
Yeah. No.
Okay. At the break, I'll show you a recent photo of her.
Do I want to? Because she wasn't really hot to begin with.
You may not be able to go back on the air.
Okay.
Because I was surprised. And I'm not making fun of people. I'm just you get used to seeing people a certain way, and then you see them again. You're like, oh, no, I haven't seen them in a long time. What has happened to that person?
What did you do, Ray?
What did you do? What did you do? But, yeah, wow, the Sid and Marty Krofft shows. You had Lidsville about a show about a guy with Butch Patrick. Remember he played Eddie Munster? Well, he was a teenager in the 70s, and he played in Lidsville, where he was transported to this he was in a magic shop, and he fell in this giant magic hat. And the place he lived, this other universe he was in, they were all giant hats, creatures, but they were hats. And I'm like, okay, again, in the studio, in this round table, coming up with a show, what were you guys doing? What were you doing? And Charles Nelson Riley had green skin, and he's like, oh, I'm going to come in. He was the bad guy of the show. So I remember Lidsville. I remember Sigmund and the Sea Monsters with Johnny Whitaker from Family Affair. He was in that show. Electra Woman and Dinah Girls with Sid and Marty Krofft. They had all kinds of shows that were on, mostly on ABC, but they were mostly people in costumes and puppets and stuff. What were they doing around that table? I demand to know. I demand to know.
Howdy, folks. Now I'd like to introduce our next act, that fantastic, world-famous singing group, the Three Oranges.
We will return after these messages.
In the not-so-distant future on a planet called Earth, it's Underoos.
Star Wars Boba Fett is here. That means Darth Vader's always near. C-3PO is lots of style. And R2-D2 just makes me smile. Star Wars Underoos are here, yeah! Something out of sight in underwear.
Don't be so ridiculous, R2. Underoos are for Earthlings.
We've got the makings of a Star-Bar.
Star-Bar.
It's soft and peanut buttery, crunchy bits of peanuts through and through. So smooth and chewy caramel, and creamy chocolate too.
We make Star-Bar soft and peanut buttery, but crunchy with peanuts. We make it chewy with caramel, but creamy with milk chocolate.
We've got the makings of a Star-Bar. We've got the makings of a Star.
New from Peter Paul.
So we're coming back from the break here, and Alan, we were talking about Angelica Houston earlier before we went to the break, and how some people age, and they can't do anything about it. I'm going to age too. I don't look like I did in my 20s, but he's looking at this picture of her that Eric sent him, and yeah, it's you still have this. You still have the look on your face. Are you okay? You're getting new wrinkles that you didn't have before. Looking at that photo, I mean,
I can't not look at it. It's horrifying.
That's not. And I hate to say that about someone who's getting older, because they're going to say that about me. Well, heck, they say it about me now.
Has anybody looked to see if any actors are missing around her, because she may have eaten them?
Okay, so that's her in the 60s.
Okay.
I'm showing you a picture of her from the 60s. You know, it's not that. So, but everybody gets older.
No,
yeah.
No, this is a female multiverse
terrible
version of Wilson Fisk.
Right.
She is, instead of Kingpin, she's Queenpin.
Speaking of that,
with her goofy little comic book villain smile. Spider-Man,
that's
you
terrible.
can't beat me.
Speaking of Wilson Fisk and Daredevil, Daredevil's going to be coming back, I guess, for season 4 at Disney Plus with the MCU, which is great, because before it was on Netflix, and then they yanked it off. And I don't know
they're
why
available to watch on Disney now.
They are. Where do you think I've been watching them?
Oh, okay.
I finally saw season 3, and it was amazing. We got treated to another one of those long fight scenes at the prison. And I'm like, holy cow, that show's amazing. I don't know why people are debating on whether it's going to be canon and take up from the original series. I'm like, why would it not be? Because you've already introduced Wilson Fisk, played by the same guy, at the end of Hawkeye. So they're setting up a whole other thing. And now you know what I'm seeing in the future? I'm seeing Hawkeye and Daredevil team up to do something. I can see that coming. And that would be welcomed. I'd love to see Charlie Cox with Jeremy Renner on screen together. I think that would be fun.
Well, I mean, I think it'd be Spider-Man first, don't you?
I don't know.
Considering he showed up in the Spider-Man movie.
Well, that's true too. But if I'm saying Daredevil's coming back to Disney Plus for a show, they may have them cross over there. But I would like to see him, because he knew Peter Parker. They're both operating in New York, and for a long time, Daredevil was, shall we say, intimate or a partner with Black Widow for a long time in his comic book. And for a while, the comic book was called Daredevil and the Black Widow. They're actually in the title sequence.
Yep.
But it's time to have more fun now, and we flash the audience of the news, the weird, the strange, and the bizarre.
Such a fun segment, and I get to have the first news. This from UPI, a Wisconsin man who earned a Guinness World Record for most Big Macs eaten in a lifetime celebrated another milestone, 50 years of eating a Big Mac nearly every single day.
Now, that's just one a day. He's not eating like 7.
The story I heard was that he's eating 2 a day.
Oh, really? So we got a little conflict there.
Yeah, he would eat 1 for lunch or 1 for dinner.
And technically, you could split a Big Mac in half because it's got 3 buns on it, one in the middle.
Here's the thing: since I heard this story, I've been craving a Big Mac.
Nothing wrong with that.
I haven't had a Big Mac.
Why don't you feed the craving?
I can't even remember the last time I had a Big Mac.
Feed the craving.
I can't remember the last time I ate fast food.
Feed the pig. Feed the craving. You can do it.
Don Gorski of Fond du Lac earned a Guinness World Record in 1999 when he was confirmed to have eaten, at that time, 15,490 of the McDonald's sandwiches in his lifetime, and the record was most recently updated in August of 2021 when his total surpassed 32,340. Wow. Gorski is now celebrating 50 years of eating a Big Mac almost every day since May 17, 1972. The burger fan who said he most often eats 2 of the sandwiches on a given day said he missed only 8 days in his 50-year fandom. Gorski said he has tried other burgers, but nothing has struck him like the Big Mac.
So he's been doing it since 1972. He just didn't start this a year ago.
Right.
And he's how old, did it say?
50.
So that's proof that maybe there's something Big Mac that, I don't know, maybe there's something there. He's not dead.
He's not dead.
Not bad. He'll just be well preserved, maybe.
Oh, I don't think he says 50. He's been doing it for 50 years.
Right, but how
50
old?
years. I don't know how old he is.
But I'm saying he's got to be older than 50.
Correct.
Then. That's great.
He's got to be closer to 60.
That gives me
70.
hope. Maybe you and I should go get a Big Mac the moment we leave
But
today.
I will show you the video of him. He's not, overweight.
Again, maybe he
Once
lives a good life
moderation.
otherwise.
Maybe he works out and still exercises. He just says, you know what? I'm just going to eat a Big Mac.
Nothing wrong with that. You could do that with a Whopper, KFC chicken. If you do it right all the way around, you can do it. Taco Bell.
That was the last time we had fast food when you and I went to that Whopper breakfast.
We went to Burger King. That's
Yeah.
right. I remember that. That's the last time you've been to fast food?
That's the last time I did fast food.
You're overdue. It's time to go to McDonald's.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun.
You know how many calories are in a Big Mac?
You know, I don't ask myself that question because I don't care. Because if I start doing that...
I kind of do.
I don't
I'm
do
at that age where I don't need the predator coming after my shoulder.
Don't do that. Hey, he was already after you on your hike, by the way. He didn't want to kill you because of your heat signature. Oh, your joints hurting. I got the next news.
Pain in his knees, pain in his hip, pain in his back.
Knee was great. Predator looks at Al on the hike, and his shoulders are red, his knees, his hips. I'm not going to shoot him.
Predator just walks and goes, man, I didn't know he was already dead.
From UPI, a team of Johns Hopkins University students are aiming to change the way people eat their burritos.
Oh, I heard about this.
With a new innovation. It's edible tape.
Yes. It's like cling wrap that you can eat.
Tape isn't edible anyway? I didn't know that. The Whiting School of Engineering students who unveiled their Tasty Tape, that's T-A-S-T-E-E project, for the school's Engineering Design Day said they were inspired to create their edible tape by their own experiences with notoriously messy foods such as burritos, tacos, and wraps. The chemical and biomolecular engineering students said they aimed to use science to make their lunches less messy. The team member said they are not yet disclosing.
I thought that's what the tortilla was for.
Yeah, and you wrap it up really tight and it won't come out. The team member said they are not yet disclosing their secret formula because they are in the process of obtaining a patent. Guerrero said the tape's adhesive is activated by moisture and is designed to remain in place while even cooking. Well, that's kind of cool. Is that you don't put it on after it comes out. You just put it on as you're cooking, I guess.
The concept sounded interesting. I was trying to figure out why.
Because it won't be messy.
We have a tortilla.
I always thought it was just if it's messy, that's just part of the experience.
Yeah.
You know, what's wrong with just...
Now, do you wrap it around the tortilla because you still want to taste the tortilla?
When you wrap the tortilla up, you always have that last fold where the tortilla ends. I guess that's where they seal it with this edible tape, kind of like you're taping an envelope closed or something.
I don't know. Seems
Maybe
like a
we're
lot of
putting too much thought
Here's
into
the
it.
problem: they're going to become millionaires, and
Right.
we will be sitting here poking fun at it as if somehow it's a joke, and they're going to be one saying, "Okay,
And
it may have
they're
been a joke, but
laughing
guess who's
and-
got the bank account?"
And I still probably won't buy it because I don't need it. I'll just eat the burritos the way I've been eating them. Unless they happen to come on the one I order.
If you steam your tortillas, you don't have to worry about it; they'll stick together. Anyway,
I
all
don't
right.
know.
Guess what? I got the next news.
I don't think I ever steamed my tortillas before.
You don't steam them?
I never made them mad as far as I can remember.
Hey, get him. Maybe I just talked to him nice and got him steamy.
You ugly tortilla, you're always messy and you're always falling out.
No, I went, use such a beautiful
tortilla.
tortilla.
Well, then yours
tortilla
isn't.
goes, oh, you're so steamy.
Yours isn't. It's a different kind of steam.
Oh.
It's a steam of love.
I'm going to fill you with some lettuce and some tomato and some ground beef.
Well, then that's wrong. I steam my barbecue all the time. Then I always talk to it. My barbecue.
You're going to be so good.
I heard you talking about barbecue on Bartow's Morning News this week too, by the way, and I'm like, yeah. You're like, who doesn't like barbecue, man? It's great. Oh, it's awesome because of the VFW thing going on.
Oh,
yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, this from UPI. A Texas mother learned a lesson about leaving her phone unlocked.
Yeah, what a lesson.
When her 2-year-old son used DoorDash to order 31 cheeseburgers from McDonald's.
More food. This is a food segment of Newsflash.
I am now craving a McDonald's Big Mac. I'm telling you, this is killing me.
Okay.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun.
Kelsey Golden of Ricardo said she was working on her computer when her 2-year-old son Barrett got hold of her unlocked phone and managed to use DoorDash, the app, to order McDonald's. Golden said she was unaware of her son's actions until the delivery driver arrived at her door with 31 cheeseburgers. I didn't know what to do, she said, so I posted on a community page, Facebook, that here in Kingsville, anybody who wanted some, come get them. Golden's Facebook post sparked local interest, and some neighbors dropped by for free
awesome
hamburgers.
Become there. We'll flash more when we come back.
Hey, what do you love about freshen up gum?
Love that squirt.
What do you love when you bite into one?
Love that squirt.
Freshen Up freshens breath with a tingly liquid center. One bite squirts refreshment all over your breath.
Freshen your breath with Freshen Up. Your gum that goes squirt.
Love that squirt. Yodelay-o, Swiss Miss Instant Cocoa. What's the best way to start your day?
Give a little yodel.
Swiss Miss has lots of rich chocolatey cocoa and milk already in it. So all you do is add hot water and give a little yodel. Okay, gang, what do you do for a warm-up break? Swiss Miss Instant Cocoa. Yodelay-o.
See if I can do my magic trick here. Pull a rabbit out of a hat. If you've never seen the video of Steve Miller, Abracadabra, you should watch it, because it's one of those music videos where it merely means really not much of anything. Back when early 80s, when videos, they just like, let's just put a video together for our song. We don't really care what it's about.
Yeah, it weren't little mini movies. They were more like film us singing, then film us doing really weird, I don't know, almost performance art things.
Sometimes interesting things, sometimes not. Yeah. Now, the first big theatrical one I remember seeing, other than Michael Jackson's Thriller, which was directed by John Landis, do you remember the video for Pat Benatar's Shadows of the Night?
Oh, my God, a World War II video.
That was a great video. They were like infiltrating
very young
the...
Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Is in it.
With the airplanes and everything?
Yes.
I thought that was a great video.
Yeah, she's like a spy with a Spitfire squadron.
With a scarf around her
I'm like,
neck.
oh, my God. It's like a mini movie.
That was a great video.
I would have gone to see that movie.
And I think it was, for the longest time, Billie Jean by Michael Jackson was one of the most expensive videos shot. Don't know why. Maybe it was the set and the salary they paid him.
Was it his salary?
That could have been it.
It wasn't.
But I remember one of the other most expensive videos for a long time, which it took them a while to beat how much they spent on this one, was Gypsy by Fleetwood Mac. Was one for a while the most expensively filmed music video ever shot for a music video.
Because I know Guns N' Roses' November Rain blew everything away after that, because they spent basically, I think, $80 million, like a movie budget.
Right.
On a music video.
Music was, and we got some interesting things coming up on this day in history, if you remember the old days like that. We did talk last week about boom boxes, portable stereos you used to take around with you, cassette players, and we had a good time talking about that. We got some more to talk about that, similar to that, today. I got the next news from UPI. A black bear was tranquilized and relocated after wandering onto the campus of a Utah middle school while parents were present. The Morgan School District, it was a middle school, said the bear was spotted wandering around a fenced-in sports field at the school this past Monday at 7 a.m. He was just there early for class. The district has said students were warned of the animal's presence and were kept indoors while Animal Control and Utah Division of Wildlife Resources were summoned to the scene. The bear wandered away from the campus and climbed a tree about a half a block away, where it remained until game wardens arrived and tranquilized it. The DWR said the bear was transported to a remote habitat and released. Guess what? At that middle school, guess what their mascot is?
A bear.
No, a Wolverine.
I want to correct my exaggeration. The November Rain video was $1.5 million, but that was and still is considered one of the most expensive videos of all time.
Really, at the time. I'll have to go back and do a little research and see. Research for this show? Research. I may go back and see now what stands as the most expensive music video ever produced. And I don't know if they'll adjust for inflation or anything like that. But yeah, music videos have come a long way. They started out simple, got pretty complex, and I think now
we're back
do
to
they
just filming
exist anymore? Are they still around? I don't think they are.
Sing. We'll get you from 17 different angles, different outfits, and we'll just flip back and forth.
Oh, something else has changed about the music industry too, and we know this for a fact. Don Henley from the Eagles was in an interview not too long ago. I think it was with 60 Minutes. He was talking about, if you're a rock group now and you do an album. Just it's hard to get on a label now, no matter who you are. You just got to sometimes self-release stuff because of all the streaming, YouTube. He goes, there's no way it's just not the way it used to be. You release an album and you get the video of it on MTV. He goes, it's changed so much that it's virtually impossible to make any money unless you just produce the album yourself, release it yourself, contract a company to release it, and just take the profits from that. I'm like, I guess he's right. He really is right with streaming and everything.
I've heard from folks that say the only way they make money, honestly, is between some of the ticket sales to go on tour is merchandise.
Yeah, because there's no more looking forward to going to buy that album from that group that you like at the store, like we were talking about. It's all changed.
Got the last news.
Wrap it up.
Woo-hoo. A young man in Tennessee lucked up. I had to make sure I pronounced it carefully.
He lucked up. Okay, good.
Lucked up.
Okay, good.
After nearly losing an engagement ring in a blazing vehicle fire Monday.
Wait a minute. You say nearly losing it.
Well, according to the story, Myers Hart and his high school sweetheart, Brooklyn Stevens, were driving a rental car on Monday afternoon when they heard a loud pop. Hart pulled over to the side of the road and to inspect the vehicle when he realized the car was on fire.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
Maybe there was some snaps and crackles to go with that pop.
Probably.
There was a loud bang. I think the coolant reservoir blew, and it shot the hood up and spewed fluid everywhere, and that's when it went up in flames.
That's terrible.
The couple made it out safely, along with Stephen's best friend, who was also in the vehicle. But after escaping, Hart realized that the engagement ring he was hiding was still in the burning car.
No.
Fire crews were dispatched to the car fire located I-840 and arrived to find the vehicle engulfed in flames. According to Williamson County Fire Rescue, crews worked rapidly to put the flames out. Despite the gloomy circumstances, Stevens' best friend remained hopeful. Thankfully, her friend's positivity wasn't in vain. After firefighters extinguished the blaze, she quietly asked them to look for the ring. Surprisingly, the token of love was practically untouched.
What?
In the burning vehicle.
I guess it was made out of something that wouldn't melt.
Look,
I guess.
Do you need a better sign that you might be able to weather just about anything,
or that your romance and your engagement is just smoking hot, man? It's on fire. You can
withstand whatever you go through.
Into each other. That's great.
On the flip side, with my first marriage, a friend of mine said, I thought it was going to be bad when I showed up and there was a dead bat on the steps. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, right on the front steps, there was a dead bat. I'm like, why didn't you say something sooner? He goes,
B-A-T?
B-A-T.
A dead bat.
Bat.
Of all things.
Mm-hmm. A bat.
We need to look up ancient omen symbols and maybe see what a dead bat represents.
Apparently that one meant 11 years or less.
That's terrible. Oh, I got an addendum to the news flash. Let's see if I can squeeze this one in. This wasn't really on the list, but
Is
it's
this
a separate
the puppy
story.
one?
Yeah, it's a dog related. You heard about this, and I have an extra bonus news. A Tennessee couple got a surprise in bed.
Wait a minute. Hey, this is we're FCC here. This is not a podcast. I know you change it into one.
Julie and Jimmy Johnson are no strangers to dogs. They have 3 of their own that regularly sleep in the bed with them in their home in southeast Tennessee. But recently, the couple woke up to find a large tan dog sandwiched between them, that was not their dog. That is
not my dog.
Quote, you could see light coming into our curtains in our bedroom, and I feel my husband not just roll over, but kind of startled, like almost a jump roll over it, and it woke me up, Julie said. And in a quiet, stern voice, he said, Julie, whose dog is this? Unquote. Julie was admittedly confused, thinking it was, of course, their either Hollis, Jupiter, or Zeppelin, one of their 3 dogs. There's some good names for dogs. But then she rolled over, locked eyes with Jimmy, only to find an unknown dog in the bed with them.
When you make that loving-looking, did the dog suddenly go...
That's right.
Like
Quote,
mine always does?
Quote, my husband just went to kind of pull the blankets up a little bit, almost like they were going to protect him. At one point, the dog got even further up on our pillows and snuggled, and it was just 100% content. It was just content 100% to be there, Julie said. That's so cute. Julie Johnson and Nayla and her owners, Nayla, I guess that's the dog name, are no longer strangers after the bizarre incident. They all even got together for a dog play date last week after the incident. It didn't take much time after that to realize that the strange dog was not a threat, but instead a cuddle bug and maybe a bit of a bed dog as it pushed the Johnsons to both sides of their king-size bed that they had. After taking a look at the dog and realizing it must have had owners that took care of it, Julie said she started taking some selfies of the bizarre and funny situation. Then she posted a few photos on Facebook of what she said was the weirdest post I have ever had to make, asking her friends if anyone recognized the dog. Now, it didn't take long before Julie received a message from a person saying they were the dog's owner. It turned out that the dog, whose name is Nayla, had slipped out of her collar while on a walk and ran into the woods the previous day ahead of large thunderstorms in the area. A quick photo verification, one of Nayla's moms was on their way to get her.
That's great.
Maybe they've made new friends now because of that. It was ordained.
The dog was probably scared.
Oh, yeah. It's thunderstorms.
And then saw some other dogs that took him in.
Yeah.
Her in.
Or followed dog. Hey,
and said, look, you got a dog door? Can I
come in with you?
Come in? It's like, oh,
and of course,
you guys
if
get
it's
to
another
sleep with mom and dad.
If it's another nice dog, of course he's going to go, yeah, sure, come on in.
Can I come up on the bed too? Of course you can. Yeah, we're a pack.
Yeah, they're asleep, but it's okay. Just don't wake them up. They'll let me give you this really cool food.
Every time we dog sit any of our kids' dogs, they don't go, wait a minute, this is a strange bed. No, like, whoops, I'm on the bed with everyone else.
Yeah, we
have a king size for that very reason.
We babysit our Stacy's daughter's dog, and that dog and our dog have become basically adopted sisters. They're like, neither one of them have another dog at home, so when they get together at our house to stay when they go on a trip, we're one of those people. We don't go, no, we got a dog sit again. We look forward to it, like, oh, Keegan's coming over to hang out with Pippa. This is going to be fun. She loves it. They play, fight, and everything. And I referee them. I'm sitting there like, all right, ready? This is ready to rumble, and they start fighting in the living room. It's so fun.
Having the fenced backyard. When we had an all-day Mother's Day. We did it on the Saturday rather than Sunday, so the kids could come in sooner and hang out longer. One of them, because they said, well, can we bring our dog?
Oh,
well, of course, because they didn't want to be good. Because if you have a dog at home, at some point you have to go back home.
Right, of course.
As soon as Mo comes running inside, it's like 7 Tasmanian devils all.
Time to party.
So we open the back door, and it's like a cloud in the shape of our dogs all heading out the back door.
Tasmanian devil cloud.
We let them run around the backyard for about 40 minutes. They got all tired out, came inside.
They come in, and then they crash.
They each found a corner and said, we're just fine staying here now. We're all good now, right?
Lay on that cool floor if it's a hardwood floor.
Hardwood?
I didn't even mind it when they were fighting that one time and knocked my dad's ashes off the mantle. I didn't even mind that. They didn't mean to do it. I had to clean it up, though.
Got a little bit of dad on you.
Yeah, it's like, there's kind of dirt there.
Well, hold still. I got to brush you off.
I'm still convinced, because I never look at her. When we let our dog out in the back, our big fenced-in backyard, we let her out at night. I never look at her when I just open the door and go, okay, come on in. It's time to come in. I'm convinced that she's going to walk in one night and I'm never going to see it. And she's going to have like 6 possums on her back holding onto her like they've lost their mom. Because Stacy's like, you better check her out because she might come in with something that we don't want in the house. I'm like, I've trusted her so far. She will leave us presents on the back step of things that she's killed before.
Maybe that's how the snake got in your house.
Well, no, that was before her.
Oh,
we didn't have a dog then, but she has left, dead possums, dead squirrels, dead chipmunks on our back porch as tokens of her affection.
Because you guys don't know how to hunt for yourself.
Yeah, we don't.
Stupid humans.
I couldn't catch a squirrel. They're too fast.
No kidding.
You tried to catch one? And squirrels will bark at you. If you get a mad, they'll go. can't believe that. Speaking on there. Back.
My dog's better than your dog. My dog's better than yours. My dog's better 'cause he gets kennel ration. My dog's better than yours.
Kennel Ration Burger has everything dogs need. More protein, more nourishment, less fat than hamburger. And check the label. Kennel Ration's the only burger for dogs, government inspected for wholesomeness. The only one.
My dog's better than yours.
Hi, doggy. Nice doggy. Here, boy, come on. Hi, fella. Hey!
Don't run!
What?
Walk away slowly.
He tried to bite me.
Never try to pet an animal you don't know. He may be lost, sick, or scared.
You mean he might be dangerous?
That's right. If we don't know, we leave him alone.
And we don't get bit. Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear. Okay?
Welcome back to the show. It's BK on the air here on AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WBHF. If you can't hear us locally on the radio, you can stream us from the website, WBHFradio.org, or we're on two apps. You can download two different apps and listen to us on your device or your smartphone or whatever you got. The Tunein app and the Radio Garden app. And you can get the free version of both of them. You don't have to pay for them unless you just want to. I do have one friend that has the Tunein app that he pays for because I noticed the icon looks different if you pay for it, and he just hates commercials so much that he just would rather not have it. And like, I can put up with a few commercials just to take a break. You know, I'm a cheapskate when it comes to apps. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really am. But let's do a little on this day in history. Today is May the 21st, and we like to do it on the Saturday that we're on, the particular day that we're on. In 1908, on this day in history, the first American horror movie that was silent was released on this day in 1908. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the first film version of that movie came out on this day. It's touted as the first American horror film. On this day in history, in 1914, the Greyhound Bus Company begins in Minnesota. It begins.
Wow.
Have you ever taken a long bus trip on any of the major bus lines before?
No, my only bus trips would have been in school on field trips.
I took one trip on a Greyhound, believe it or not, and it was from Gadsden, Alabama to Birmingham, Alabama, because at the time we only had one car. Dad was in Birmingham doing something for a job and couldn't come back to see us, so Mom's like, we're just going to take a Greyhound and go down to see your dad and hang out because we haven't seen him and we all miss him. So we took a Greyhound down to Birmingham and came back, and it was an experience. I mean, I was in line. I got the little toy Greyhound they gave me, a little bus, and we stopped at Jack's. There's a fast food chain called Jack's, and I had a burger and fries on the bus. As a kid, that's exciting stuff.
I'm sure it was.
And when I'm on the bus, I'm like, how am I going to go to the bathroom? She's like, see that little corner back in there? There's a bathroom in there behind that door. I'm like, no. Where does it go when you flush it? Mom's like, I don't think we need to talk about that, even though it maybe wasn't.
Yeah, as a kid, it would probably be cool. I'm not going to do it as an adult.
It was amazing. Now, I don't relish sitting on a bus now. I don't want to do that.
I'd be convinced to do a train trip.
Trains are different. Yeah, trains are fun. We took the Blue Ridge Scenic Railway up in North Georgia, which is a great
ride.
For
like a day.
Fun.
I'm talking about, could you imagine doing maybe across the Pacific Northwest on a train?
That's beautiful. Like through Alaska, too. There's some Alaska trips where you sit in the car above and it has the glass opening.
I want to go where it's like an overnight where you've got your sleeping car and then you go to it's time to go to the dining car. And we've got a little wreck car. That'd be fun.
In Alaska, dogs don't chase you like cars. Polar bears chase the train. It's really fun watching them chase it. So
Grizzly bear.
Aren't they beautiful?
Oh, yeah.
May 21st, 1917. Here's a local one kind of for us, just south of us. The Great Atlanta Fire in 1917 was on this day in history. At least 10,000 people were displaced with this big fire that hit Atlanta, but only one person died. I mean, one person is bad, but after affecting 10,000 people, the Great Atlanta Fire in 1917. On this day in history, May the 21st, 1977, Electric Light Orchestra, ELO, releases one of their biggest hits, Telephone Line, came out on this day back in 1977. The album that it's off of is from the year before, 1976.
Wait, it's on this day, 1977?
1977 on this day.
So we're just
Telephone
a few
Line
days before Star Wars would hit the theaters.
Yeah, that's my wedding anniversary, too. It's the same day. I didn't plan it that way, but that's my wedding anniversary.
That's crazy.
That's the real Star Wars Day. They say May the 4th, but no.
No.
The Star Wars Day is
25th.
May the 25th, yeah. And, of course, on this day in history, you've been hearing about us talk about it. This premiered in the movie theater on this day in history in 1980.
Luke Skywalker and Han Solo rescued the princess, destroyed the Death Star, but their story didn't end there. Now, the creators of the biggest smash hit of all time bring you the next episode in the Star Wars saga, The Empire Strikes Back. Continuing story of our band of heroes: Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, C-3PO, R2-D2, and Chewbacca. And introducing Lando Calrissian. It's an epic of romance. Of heroes and villains. They cross trackless voids to unknown worlds. A galactic odyssey against oppression. Big, new, sprawling space adventure in the Star Wars saga, The Empire Strikes Back. Coming to your galaxy next summer.
And Darth Vader breathes at the end. The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, if you know, you might recognize a couple of voices in that trailer if you listen real close. Could have been a trivia question.
I'm just curious the direction the
Rinfest tickets.
Harrison, try not to sound like you, so put on a fake radio broadcaster voice.
It wound up sounding more like him.
It sounded more like him.
I don't know how that worked exactly. So, yeah, The Empire Strikes Back. We've been talking about it. And we can continue to take your calls, too. If you've seen it, give us a call today, 770-386-1450. Or when you saw it the first time. If you're listening to this show and you haven't seen it.
That's crazy.
If you saw it and remember seeing it and were shocked by what happened or loved seeing it for the first time, share it with us. 770-386-1450 is our number. Today on this day in history, 1982, wow, 40 years ago, number one on the Billboard chart was Ebony and Ivory by Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder. What are you laughing at over there? Why are you laughing at that?
None, just can't believe it's that old.
Little beneath Paul McCartney to do that song.
No,
it's a nice message, but
no, just that old.
Oh, 40 years, man. 40
That's 40 years.
And what did go to number one? We talked about Return of the Jedi being Mike Mann's favorite Star Wars film when he called in earlier and was talking. That's okay. We'll still be friends with him. 1983 is when Jedi came out. Well, if you were to leave the theater from seeing Return of the Jedi, turn the radio on and hear Casey Kasem do the top 40 countdown, I will play the song. It's not this one because we're going to a break. This is Average White Man, but we'll play the song that was number one in 1983 when Return of the Jedi was out. I'll do that when we come back. Today's birthday: Raymond Burr, Perry Mason himself, Ironside, Godzilla. His birthday is today. He died in 1993. Also, it's Lawrence Turall's birthday today. Did you know that? Lawrence Turall. It's Mr. T.
Okay,
that's his real name.
His name's Lawrence.
Yes. I'll call him Larry. No, you call me Mr. T. Today is Judge Reinhold's birthday, too. Today.
Okay.
I didn't even look how old he is because I didn't want to know. I'm like, he's that old? We'll have more on this day in history, what national day it is when we come back.
Hi, I'm Mr. T, and I'll be right back. We want to go home.
You gotta be kidding with those baby barbell men. Well, I don't know about lifting my dad's weights. They're kind of heavy. Maybe for you. but not for the big guys like Mr. T and me.
Hey, hold it a second. That kid thinks he can look like Mr. T overnight. It took me years of slow, steady training before I became the specimen that you see today. You got to take one step at a time. You got to start small and build up. Then you move on to the next side. And when you're really prepared, then you can move on to the big time. Well, see, there are some things even T ain't ready for yet. Nothing comes easy. So if you want to get bigger, start smaller.
Do you have an extra one of the small barbells?
And that's one to grow on.
Pure Power from K-Tel is hot off the charts. 20 fantastic hits. Original stars E.L.O. It's a living thing. England Dan and John Ford Coley. That's a forever without you. Gary Wright. Alice Cooper. War. Elvin Bishop. Boss Gag. And Kiss. You'll be a hard luck woman. Blue Oyster Cult. Brass Construction, ABBA, Silver Convention, Diana Ross, and Wild Cherry. Music, Kenny Nolan. I like Doobie Brothers. It's Pure Power. 20 super hits, $6.99 from K-Tel. Paper cassette, $7.99.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Oh. Hey, we're back. It's BK on the air. Number one on the chart back in 1983 on this day in history, David Bowie's Let's Dance. That's what you could listen to if you left Return of the Jedi at the theater and turned your radio on and heard the countdown. Let's Dance is number one on the chart in 1983.
Well, the teddy bears were dancing at the end.
Yum, 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 yum. 2017. Wow, this is not too long ago. I had forgotten this had happened. On this day, May 21st, Barnum and Bailey Circus performs for the last time at the Nassau Coliseum in New York City after, get this, 146 years of performing that circus.
Too much pressure. Can't keep animals in cages and terrible? Performing.
Now back to the actual program. 2020.
Look, Gandalf, Professor X needs to have the wizard returned.
How many things are wrong in that sentence? By the way, we were talking about Doctor Strange and Sam Raimi and stuff earlier this morning on your show. Isn't it funny how it was Patrick Stewart showed up as Professor X in the yellow chair that was used in the animated series of the X-Men, which was another nice little choice that they just kind of threw in there. Oh, somebody else is calling, 770-386-1450. Hello, it's BK on there. Who is this?
This is T.C. Rustani.
Hey, TC, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you on the show. I bet I probably know why you're calling, too.
Well, I saw your tweet.
You did? Which one? Which tweet?
Well, the one about, if you have a fond memory of The Empire Strikes Back, you recall.
That's right, and you did, and you're the same generation as us. Do you remember going to see The Empire Strikes Back for the first time because it's anniversary today?
I just tweeted about it about 10 minutes ago. It was 42 years ago today. My grandparents waited in line with me for 3 hours in Woburn, Massachusetts to get tickets to the 9 p.m. showing of The Empire Strikes Back because my grandfather didn't understand how big Star Wars was. And he showed up to go to the 6 o'clock showing, figuring, there'd be no line. And wow, was he for a shock.
He didn't understand. He's like, what is this big Star Wars thing? What is that?
Right. All he knew about it was, I got to take my grandson to the toy store again to get more Star Wars stuff.
That's about as bad as when Alan was taken by his mom and dad to see the first Star Trek the Motion Picture, and they found it boring and horrible. And when Alan wanted to go see the Wrath of Khan, she's like, "No, I'm not taking you to see another one of those Star Trek movies. We saw the first one. We don't want to see the next one."
You take your brother.
Well, he never saw a Star Wars movie before The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think he had seen one since.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad you checked in with us and told us about that. I want to, while we got you on the air, let everybody know where you are on the internet and what your show is and what you got out there in the world floating around.
Well, I am a late night talk show host, a la Johnny Carson. And my greatest compliment I've ever received was we are the Tonight Show, the Twilight Zone. And you can visit me online at tcristani.com, or go to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/AfterHoursDC, and follow me on Twitter. I live on Twitter @AfterHoursDC.
And check him out, T.C. Rustani. He's fantastic and a great guy, too, and I'm glad to call him my retro friend out there on the Internet and in the world. Buddy, I appreciate you calling in and checking in with us. We've got to have another visit on the air soon. We'll set it up, I promise.
Anytime, my friend.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon, T.C. Bye-bye. He's of the same kind of age as well. We're a little older than you, Alan. You know,
a little bit.
A lot of people are, but there's some people that are younger
not that
than
I'm
you are.
counting anymore.
Not that you're counting. On this day in history, May the 21st, 2021, Godzilla vs. Kong premiered. Another movie premiere today. And wow, there was another. I skipped one of the. I skipped one of the birthdays that I have on the birthday list, and we'll get to the national day of too. Today is an actor's birthday as well.
Starbuck.
Starbuck? A volunteer?
I don't think it was his sense of duty. Father's idea to reopen the dining lounge and the Rising Star to give our people an evening to look forward to was brilliant. Only the waiting list is nearly a yarn long. But the first pilot to fly the new Recon Viper goes to the head of the list.
Now, let's not deprecate Starbucks volunteering for what could be a long and dangerous mission.
Oh, no, sir.
It's Richard Hatch playing Apollo on Battlestar Galactica there from 1978, ABC television. Richard Hatch's birthday today. He passed away in 2017. There's another celebrity who I'm like, when I found out he passed away, I'm like, no, what?
He was way too young.
You got to be kidding me. Yeah, and we were watching The Waltons the other day, and he actually is on 2 or 3 episodes of The Waltons as one of the Waltons' cousins. One of the cousins on the Waltons, and I'd forgotten about it. And I interviewed him a few years ago on the show, and I got to talk to him a lot and ran into him. I always had a cup of coffee with him down at Dragon Con when I saw him. And when I asked him about the Waltons on the show, he goes, you know, no one's ever asked me about the Waltons before. I'm like, I try to do that. I try to get away from the regular stuff and talk about the other stuff. And he loved being on the Waltons. He liked, he was friends with Richard Thomas, who played John Boy. And little did we know, Richard Thomas would go on to be in his own sci-fi movie called Battle Beyond the Stars years later. Touted as the next Star Wars, which was wrong. Anything that said it was the next Star Wars, it was always wrong every time. Like if it said, this is the new Raiders of the Lost Ark. No, that means it's not. I said, I don't even have to see your movie to know that you're lying. The only next Raiders there'll be is the next Raiders film with Harrison Ford. Until the fourth one.
Whatever that was.
Get into that either. Today is National something today. Today is National Red Cross Founders Day today. Great organization, the Red Cross. Been around for years. Today is National Memo Day. Did you take a memo earlier?
I did not take a memo.
Why, is there one missing?
I hate when I get a memo, too.
Especially here.
They're never good
Especially
memos.
Here. Wouldn't it be nice to get a memo that goes, hi, you're doing a great job, smiley face, keep it up. Wouldn't that be great?
I'd feel like I've slipped into an alternative universe.
You're like, I'm in a multiverse.
I went somewhere different. Where am I?
And then you walked outside and you're like, the green light's been stop. And the red light's been go.
It's backwards.
And there's a yellow Delta 8 Oldsmobile floating in the air. And Bruce Campbell's over there. What's going on? Now, I can't tell you what every national day it is because I only pick out the ones that I think are fun to talk about and may fit the template of the show. There's like a stack of like 12 of them, and I've only got 3 here because the others really don't mean much to me. It is National Strawberries and Cream Day.
Good.
Today.
Good. I like strawberries
You cannot go wrong.
That's it? That's the only one that's worth mentioning?
Those 3 are the only ones I think mentioning. We did 3 of them. So that's the only 3 I think are worth mentioning. I want to do a little contest, too, while we're at it. Georgia Renfest is going on until next weekend. Next weekend is the last weekend you can go. I have in my hands, if you could see me, I'm holding them in my hands right now. It look like a deck of cards. 4 tickets for a family of 4 to get in for free. I think that includes parking, too, right? It includes everything down there. If you can answer this trivia question.
Not food, just to get in.
Not food, just parking. If it covered food, I would never leave. But get that big turkey,
no more tickets.
That turkey leg. If you could tell me, it is the Empire Strikes Back's anniversary today, so it's going to be kind of that related. What actor from Cheers, remember the sitcom Cheers with Ted Danson and Shelley Long and later on Kirstie Alley? From the TV show Cheers, what actor from Cheers was actually in The Empire Strikes Back? Do you know? If you can call 770-386-1450 and tell me what Cheers actor is in The Empire Strikes Back. He has a quick little scene there.
It's very short.
A couple of them.
He's
you can have a. I give it away. He's a rebel, obviously on Hoth, but that's okay. A family ticket of 4 tickets to Georgia Renfest, the Renaissance Festival. You can have them. The only thing is, if you win, you got to come pick them up here from the station. We'll tell you how to do that if you call and win. 770-386-1450. Call us if you know the question, what Cheers actor is in The Empire Strikes Back? He's a rebel and helps them fight the Empire. So I think we're going to go to Renfest. I don't know if it's today. We may try to go the last weekend, which is next weekend, because I always like the Renfest. And we haven't gone. I mean that COVID thing put a damper on it for a while. And I don't know if I ever told you this. I might have said it on the air before. Did you know that I auditioned many years ago for The King?
No.
At the Renfest? Because, the actors are there to do their thing. And I think they got down to I was the second or third person, and they were interviewing it toward the end.
They didn't check your last
name? And then
name?
it started to. I didn't have
you were
anything to do with it. So
Eminently qualified.
Hey, I can just show my license as the King and show my driver's license, and they'll believe it.
I'm already Mr. King.
Well, I did it with. It was many years ago. I did it, and I did it in a total Patrick Stewart voice. I don't know. I didn't know what else to do. I'm like, it's the only really good English accent I can do it, but it sounds like Patrick Stewart. But
were you supposed to do an accent?
It came down. Well, you're supposed to be in an English accent.
You were supposed to be
helps you. Okay. But I don't know what it was. They wound up not choosing me because I did have a little conflict with the schedule or whatever, and it was things that would. I mean, I had a real job that I had to work at, to pay my bills. And then they need you to be more free with your schedule to be available to do things and stuff. And I think that may have been what kept me from doing it. Or they may have just not picked me. I can't remember. I don't know what it was. But I was down to the final three. That's not bad, I guess.
That's not bad.
Not being considered.
There were 4 people who applied.
Come on in to the Renaissance Festival. Everyone's ready. Come on. Energize. Wait, that doesn't work.
Ladies and gentlemen,
are we ready to eat a turkey leg? Make it so.
Make it so.
Wait a minute.
This photograph already has 27 likes.
That guy doesn't have an English accent at all.
No, not at all.
In the commercial. I'm not talking bad about it. I'm just saying. So, it's BK on the Air. We're going to take a break.
Someone's ringing. You may have to take them off there.
We'll come back. It's BK on the Air.
He's a-coming! He's a-coming! There's gonna be a gunfight!
There's a brand new bubble gum in town named Hubba Bubba. It's soft, juicy, and delicious. Best of all, Hubba Bubba lets you blow great, big, fat bubbles that won't stick to your face.
That's gum, my bubble gum.
Big bubbles, no troubles.
You Hubba Bubba bubble gum.
I'm Louis, the lifeguard, and happy to say I rescued a drowning potato today. They drowned in its sour cream. Oh, what a shame, 'cause food's so much better when it's practically plain. So don't drown your food in mayo, salt, ketchup, or goop. Yuck! It's no fun to eat what you can't even see. So don't drown your food.
No limit of self-promotion. It's BK on the Air.
We're back. It's BK on the Air here on AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WBHF. Some Blade Runner music playing in the background.
I love Bangles.
I play that. I don't like the reason I'm playing it. I don't need an excuse to listen to Vangelis music because he was a very talented guy. But from Janelle Ash at Fox News, Vangelis, Chariots of Fire, and Blade Runner composer, dead at 79. I heard this week, and I wasn't very happy about it. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his real name because it says the award-winning composer, born Evangelos Odysseus Papathanasso, I think is how you would say the
One might think he's
name.
Greek.
Died at a French hospital in Paris. According to Greek media, a cause of death has not been released. Vangelis produced an Oscar-winning score for Chariots of Fire. Everybody remembers that. I mean, it was even parodied in the End of Vacation with Chevy Chase as they're running toward the Wally World. Very powerful piece of music. Even if you didn't see it, you knew what that went to because everybody remembers that. He also scored Blade Runner, which is the end title you're hearing right here from 1982, 40 years ago. The opening credits for Chariots of Fire roll as a bunch of young runners progress in slow motion across a glum beach in Scotland as a lazy, beat-backed tune, which is, it's the synthesizer-driven stuff, which he usually did, rises to an awesome declamation as they're running at the beginning. It's one of the most, like we said, instantly recognizable music themes in cinema, and its standing in popular culture has only been confirmed by the host of spoofs that it sired. The 1981 British film helped define Vangelis, the composer, but his initial encounter with success came with his first Greek pop band in the 1960s. I was not aware of this of him. He evolved into a one-man quasi-classical orchestra using a vast array of electronic equipment to conjure his enormously popular waves of sound. A private, humorless man, they say, burly, with shoulder-length hair and a trim beard, he quoted ancient Greek philosophy and saw the artist as a conduit for a basic universal force, it says. He was fascinated by space exploration and wrote music for celestial bodies, but said he never sought stardom himself. Still, a microplanet, believe it or not, spinning somewhere between Mars and Jupiter, asteroid 6354 Vangelis, will forever bear his name. One was named after him. How aptly named. Born March 29th, 1943, near the city of Volos in central Greece, Vangelis started playing the piano at the age of 4. This is almost like a Beethoven story here. Although he got no formal training and claimed he never learned to read notes. Boy, why can't I have that? It's like Paul McCartney can't read music from the Beatles. It's like, but they can play and do it and listen to it.
Crazy.
I mean, even if I went to school to learn how to play an instrument, I would still be bad at it. You couldn't teach me, I don't think, to do it. It's got to be there already. Vangelis later wrote music scores for Ridley Scott's Blade Runner, as we talked about, from 1982. The movie 1492, Conquest of Paradise, the Ridley Scott film about... That was Ridley Scott, wasn't it?
Yes.
Directed that. That's from 1992, the Christopher Columbus film, as well as the movie Missing from 1982. I remember that movie, too. It was playing in the movie theater that I worked at in 82, and I got to see that like 5 nights in a row. And the movie Antarctica from 1983, and many others. He refused many offers for film scores, once saying in an interview, "Half of the films I see don't need music. It sounds like something stuffed in, so I wouldn't want to do music for it." Vangelis said he never experimented with his music and usually recorded everything on the first take. Like, again, what? Genius. He says, "When I compose, I perform the music at the same time, so everything is live. Nothing is pre-programmed," he said in an interview. Vangelis received many awards in Greece, France, and the U.S. Little was known about his personal life besides that he was an avid painter as well. So he was an artist on top of everything else in paint. So,
I'm having maybe when he says he performed each track, but he layers his tracks. You can't do all of it at once.
I don't know that.
I know
I'm
that.
not
You
sure.
can't do it all at once.
He's a genius. He might have been able to do it. Who knows? 770-386-1450. Someone else is calling. Hey, it's BK on there. Who's this? Oh, well, they couldn't wait. Call back. You can call me back. It's okay. I'm not strict about stuff like that.
Fantastic music, though. And the score, the true Vangelis score for Blade Runner is still one of my all-time favorites to put on.
It was. I mean, you listen to it and you're like, this... I think,
and I have them both. I've got the one with It's the New
American Orchestra, and that's the one I had on cassette for years. That's right. That's the one we had. And you know what? I still listen to that one too because I was so used to hearing it. I don't know why, but I'm like you. I kept that one as well. Someone's on the line. They're calling back. Hello, it's BK on the air. Hello.
Hello, it's Chance in Atlanta.
Hey, Chance. What's going on?
We're talking about The Empire Strikes Back. What did you think of the special edition in 1997 and all the changes they made?
You know, I never cared for the special editions of any of the Star Wars movies. I thought he was trying to check. To me, The Empire Strikes Back was the one that they never should have touched one film cell
I think, yeah, the only thing that I didn't mind is they got rid of a lot of the little boxes around things.
Now that's different.
That's cleanup.
Yeah, that's cleanup.
But adding
the
walls
Bespin stuff
is being clear, and it looks like you're running down an...
Didn't really care for any of the special editions.
It didn't need it.
No, it didn't need it, no. But
and they had that bad James Earl Jones impression.
Yeah, I always look forward to Darth Vader being really mad and going, "Bring my shuttle." Instead of the special edition, we get something like, "Inform my Star Destroyer of my arrival." I'm like, wait a minute.
It was clumsy, and you didn't hear the pain in his voice.
Yeah, he was so mad there at that point, and you lost it. But yeah, I never cared for any of them. But wow, Empire Strikes Back, Anniversary, still to me is the best Star Wars movie ever made. The best.
Right on.
All right, appreciate
it. Love the show. You guys have a great weekend.
You too. All right, bye-bye. Yeah, I could not believe that that they added all that to the Empire Strikes Back.
McClunky.
That was Star Wars. Yeah, it's just not necessary. And I know people do appreciate it. They're like, oh, the Death Star chase is so much better now in Star Wars. I'm like, I watched that movie so long just the way it was, and I didn't need a thing changed about it. It was fine the way it was.
That's the one thing I didn't mind, is adding a little bit more of the camera flying and swooping with.
But
it worked.
The problem is, I still mind, because you give George Lucas an inch, he's going to take like
10,000. He took the other ones.
He's going to take 10,000 parsecs when you give it to him. He's not going to just change one thing.
I mean, the Sarlacc pit, it was interesting to finally have a mouth coming out of it. That wasn't too bad.
I didn't need it.
Well, you didn't. No,
I was going to see it in The Mandalorian. The question it was going to show up in the Book of Boba Fett. I'm sorry.
That's the problem with Lucas. There are moments where you're like, oh, I see. You can polish an effect you weren't able to do, versus saying, let me reimagine the entire scene. Like, no.
I'm just going to go on record and saying there's nothing wrong with going back to an original movie and remixing it and cleaning it up and taking out matte lines and just making the print look the best it can. Nothing wrong with that, because that's the way it's supposed to be seen. I do vote for that and loved that when I did see him in the theater. I'm like, oh, they look so great.
That was the only thing that I really loved about the cleanup of Empire.
Yeah.
You could see all the little cells
around the TIE fighters and stuff. Yeah,
and you could see the outline of the blue screen when they were flying from inside the cockpit of the snow speeders. Like, the special edition took all that away.
Also, you could see when they were in the cockpit, and it was that side shot of the Falcon cockpit, and you could see out the window behind Chewbacca when they were going to Bespin, the little pod cars, the little red pod cars. You could see them through the cockpit through the ship, and that was a mistake. But when I was younger and I would see those matte lines around the ship, I'm a geek, so I try to explain what it is. I go, oh, those are just force fields around those TIE fighters to keep. It doesn't help when they get shot; they still blow up.
Boxes that get bigger as it gets closer.
Yeah, they're little boxes that surround them with a force field.
Then there are people listening to us going, "What are you talking about? I never saw any boxes."
They're such dummy, stupid nerd goofballs.
When you watch the movie long enough and pay attention to the details, you see these things.
Well, there's going to be a lot of details this Sunday, because we're going to go get to see Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the 4K. Talk about a movie they redid from the sound and the negatives and the color correction and everything. It's a Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the first Trek film like we've never seen it before, and we'll be there. A few of us are going Sunday at 3 o'clock at our local AMC in Kennesaw at Barrett Commons through Fathom Events. I'm glad that they sold tickets for that. When we come back, that's a good way to segue into 10 amazing behind-the-scene facts that I have about The Empire Strikes Back. Now, Alan and I know a lot of these, but when we come back, we're going to tell you a few things about The Empire Strikes Back, since it is its anniversary today. When we come back, it's BK on the Air.
Chewie, an Imperial probot is searching for the rebel base.
It's Kenner's turret and probot playset. You have to put it together.
Let's check it out, Chewbacca. Keep me covered with a laser cannon.
Action figures each sold separately. You can move Han Solo with the action lever and knock out the probot.
We got him, Chewie! Yay! But now they know where we are.
Turret and probot playset from Kenner's Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back collection. Action figures each sold separately.
I'm getting a lot of great ideas. That's why S&H calls it the idea book. When do you see what I'm getting, Jack? You mean I can get all these things with S&H green stamps? Housewares, clocks, radios, board stuff, linens. They really do have everything. Well, what do you think? A Cuisinart for Jack? He's a great chef.
Here's to S&H green stamps.
And here's to the stores that give them.
S&H green stamps.
Say make your money do more.
Hey, we're back. It's BK on the Air. I want to remind you, I do turn the show into a podcast. Just search for the BK on the Air podcast. It's out there somewhere. It doesn't take much effort to find it. It is The Empire Strikes Back's anniversary today. It was released on this day in history. Oh, boy, I can't believe it's been that long since it came out. I do remember seeing that movie when it came out, and I was just floored by it. Let's continue the talk. I have some things here. 10 amazing behind-the-scene facts about The Empire Strikes Back. If you're a Star Wars fan, you probably know a lot about this already, but some people may not know this. Like with all films, there are many secret and crazy events that went on behind the scenes when George Lucas and director Irving Kershner were crafting Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Here are 10 surprising facts about the development of the film, of its creation, and its release in theaters. Number 10, there was a very good reason why Han was frozen in carbonite. Now, Alan and I kind of know this, but toward the end of the film, Darth Vader freezes Han Solo in carbonite, and as a test for a test when he plans to do the same thing to Luke and bring him to the Emperor as a prisoner. This was a surprising scene as the film ends with Han frozen, being taken by Boba Fett to Jabba the Hutt's palace for, I guess, his bounty and get paid for him. However, the film ends this way because while actors Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher were signed on for 2 Star Wars sequels, Harrison Ford had only signed on for 1. And with the actor's increasingly popularity following the release of Raiders of the Lost Ark, he'd become Indiana Jones at that point, the writers were unsure if he would ever return for Return of the Jedi. They had him frozen in carbonite to leave their options open if Ford agreed or disagreed to appearing in the trilogy caper. And I've heard rumors, too, that Harrison Ford always wanted to be killed off in Return of the Jedi. A few years later, he was. He finally got his wish.
He got his wish.
So, yeah. And then even he came back for Rise of Skywalker as like an apparition in his son's mind. And I'm surprised he even came back to do that scene. But that was interesting. Number 9, Darth Vader's plot twist was a secret among cast and crew. What may be the most iconic twist in cinema history, I would probably say it is the most iconic twist in cinema history, comes from this film when Vader tells Luke, "No, I am your father." The twist opened the door for the prequel trilogy and allowed us to see the events in a whole new light. However, this was kept a secret among the crew to avoid a leak. The only people that knew about the twist were Lucas and Kirshner, director Irvin Kershner, who told Mark Hamill, in secret so he could react accordingly in his performance. Dave Prowse, who played the guy inside the armor of Darth Vader, the on-set actor for Darth Vader, said, "No, Obi-Wan killed your father." Or better yet, on set, Dave Prowse probably went, "No, Obi-Wan killed your father," because he had that British voice. That was during filming. Many of the cast members and the crew believed this to be the big twist, because that was a big, wild piece of news, too, if that had been it.
My friends and I argued that Vader was playing a mind game with Luke, that he lied to him.
No, as a kid, I thought Vader was lying. Of course, that's exactly what I thought when I saw it. When Harrison Ford found out Mark Hamill knew, it's reportedly said that he came up to him and whispered in his ear, and he went, "Hey, kid, you didn't freaking tell me that." And he didn't say freaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I could hear him say that. That would be funny.
Forking?
It wasn't freaking.
Flubbing?
Keep going. You'll get it by the time we get off the air.
At some point.
Yeah. Number 8 fact. Hoth was filmed in freezing cold Norway.
Mm-hmm.
The film's opening act takes place on the snowy planet of Hoth, where Luke is attacked by a Wampa creature and must fight to survive in the planet's freezing cold conditions. Now, this scene was filmed on location in Finse, Norway. Now, the snowstorm Luke is walking in after escaping the Wonka cave is real, as director Irvin Kershner took the storm as an opportunity to film this scene. Mark Hamill was sent out in the cold to perform the scene while the rest of the crew filmed. They filmed it just outside the hotel doors where they were.
The dude was literally walking toward the hotel.
He was walking toward the hotel as a storm.
All the guys like, "Okay, guys."
And it works.
We got coffee here.
Yeah.
The hotel manager's like, "Could you please close the door?
We got coffee here, warm inside. Not so fast, Mark. Yeah, you got to finish your scene.
Back to one. Let's do another take.
Do another one. Empire Strikes Back, snow scene film, take 20. It's terrible.
I was like, I'm
really freezing for real.
Cold.
Can someone give me a Wampa? Give me a Tauntaun insides. Number 7, a fire increased the film's budget. I do remember this. It's surprising The Empire Strikes Back managed to be the masterpiece it is with a number of production issues during filming. Many scenes were filmed at Elstree Studios in London, where many of the film sets were built. At the same time, Stanley Kubrick was filming scenes for The Shining at the same studio. A fire broke out on the set of The Shining, which ended up forcing The Empire Strikes Back's budget to increase from $18.5 million to $22 million. That's in 1980 bucks.
That's significant
that's a lot of
cost
money.
overruns.
Yeah, by the way, it's a lot. Number 6, Han's famous line was Harrison Ford's idea.
Yes.
Oh, you know which line we're talking about.
Of course.
One of the most well-known exchanges from the film comes right from before Han is frozen in the carbonite when Leia tells him, "I love you." And then Han replies,
"I know."
The original response.
They tried it a couple of times,
right.
But I thought the original was, "I love you too."
Well, no, the original response was, "Just remember that, because I'll be back."
That
was what was written.
No.
Yeah, because that's exactly what he says.
Terminator.
That's exactly what he says in the Marvel Comics adaptation. That's what he says. They left that in there because they had only that to work with. But Ford wanted to come up with his own idea for his response, and it just didn't feel right to them. It didn't sound like that's what Han would
All of
really
the things
say.
I'd read and heard was that they tried multiple takes, multiple options.
I love you too and stuff. Yeah. And also, Kirshner eventually decided to allow Ford to respond with what he wanted. And the way I hear it, I heard that Kirshner goes, "Okay, I'm just going to roll the camera and just say it. Go. Don't even think about it." And that's what Harrison Ford did. I know. Because you know what? When I saw that in the theater, for some reason, I didn't laugh. Because I was thinking, that's Han's way of telling her that he loves her, too. That's just his way of saying it because he loves her.
Right.
Well, I know.
And
he's sympathetic when he says it.
He's trying the whole time to get her to open back up to him.
And he doesn't.
And when she finally admits it, he's like, I know.
And Harrison's a good actor. He doesn't sit there and go, I know. No. He delivers it. It's almost a little pathetic because he's like, I know. It's very sincere when he says it.
I know.
You listen to it.
I know.
It's right.
It's
that wasn't, but I know what you mean. Number 5.
That scene is so emotional.
Oh, it is.
And when I saw the live sound recording at the Atlanta Symphony.
Oh, yeah, I bet it was great.
I had tears welling.
Good, we're running out of time. I don't know if I'm going to get to all these, but we'll keep going. By the way, when Vader's face comes out of the steam of the carbon freezing thing and they're freezing Han, it's just that shot that Irvin Kershner does where Vader's face just comes out of the steam during the John Williams music. Powerful. It's amazing. Number 5, Lucas was fined for the closing credits of The Empire Strikes Back. Did you know that? While we are now very used to a film ending with the names of the directors, producers, and writers, etc., this was not the original case in the old days. Many films began with the opening credits, with the original Star Wars being a rare instance where they came at the end. Only Star Wars and the words growing up in the space is the only thing at the beginning of a Star Wars film. However, The Empire Strikes Back, the Writers and Directors Guild of America objected to putting the credits at the end, so Irvin Kershner directed the film and Leigh Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan wrote it. They did not want their names at the end of the film. Lucas wanted to preserve the dramatic opening sequence and make it match Star Wars. He was fined $250,000. That was his fine for that. They attempted to pull it out of theaters because of that.
That's crazy.
Kershner was fined $25,000 by the DGA as well. So I'm like, say what you want about George Lucas. He had a lot of ideas that he stuck to that he wanted to keep. And I think there's one more. Oh, yeah. Here's number 4. Alec Guinness worked for one day to shoot all of his scenes in The Empire Strikes Back because he's a ghost. But he only worked for one day. And he just recovered from eye surgery when he was filming The Empire Strikes Back. And number 3, Lucas financed the film himself. We know about this. Lucas wanted to avoid sharing creative rights of the film, so he financed the film's multi-million-dollar budget himself using a bank loan and his profits from Star Wars in 1977. He created the Chapter 2 Company, a subsidiary, to help minimize the financial risk associated with self-financing the movie. The decision paid off, with Lucas making back the money at the box office and sharing millions in profits with his employees. Can't believe that 20th Century Fox wouldn't just go ahead and go for it since Star Wars was the biggest film in history at that point. Why would they not do it? Number 2, Luke originally had a sister named Nelith. In Leigh Brackett's first draft of the film, the ghost of Anakin Skywalker appears to Luke and reveals that he has a sister named Nelith. In the draft, Anakin reveals that he split up Luke and Nelith at birth to protect them from Darth Vader, and Nelith had undergone Jedi training to help Luke defeat the Sith. This idea was scrapped in later drafts when the decision was made to make Anakin into Darth Vader. In Return of the Jedi, Luke's sister would eventually be revealed to be Leia rather than that new character. I didn't really know that, and if I heard it, I forgot about it.
I didn't know that.
And the last fact we have, Irvin Kershner initially turned down the offer to direct the film. Despite having directed the first film, Lucas decided not to direct the sequel due to his other roles as the head of Industrial Light and Magic and other things. Lucas went to Irvin Kershner, his former professor at the USC School of Cinematic Arts, to direct the film. And Kershner was an established director anyway. Kershner declined the offer at first, believing sequels are never as good as their predecessors, but eventually agreed to the film after his agent demanded that he take the job. That's kind of like Robert Wise in Star Trek The Motion Picture. They were approached for him to direct it, and he goes, I don't really know anything about Star Trek, and I don't want to direct it. But his family found out, and they were big Star Trek fans. They're like, how can you turn it down? Direct the Star Trek movie. I can't believe that you're not going to do it. So he decided to direct it. So some of these people just don't know.
Yeah.
They just don't know. You have to let them know.
Well, and Kershner chose to break the that belief that sequels are never as good because his was better.
Was it really the first film to do that, I think, to show that the sequels actually... But I'm not going to count the Bond films because James Bonds are just different.
Yeah,
they're just Bond
I don't
films.
Know.
But a sequel to a movie... I mean, Beneath the Planet of the Apes was a great movie, but Planet of the Apes, I think, was better, so it was the first one. So I can't really remember a sequel film.
Was Smokey and the Bandit 2 better than the
No, it was not. And it came out the same year as Empire Strikes Back anyway, so I think it was 1980 when Part 2 came out.
It's hard to think of one.
Can't think of one. If there is, I can't think of it.
For me, the
sequel being better.
because this would have been the first if we can't think of one prior, because the only one that I know is Aliens, you can argue is better than Alien.
I can argue, but I don't think it was a better film. I think they're so completely
kind of
different.
movies,
Yeah. And
but
again,
as far
Alien
as a
was
sequel,
classic.
What
Yeah.
I liked about it is they said, we don't have to retell the first movie, which is the problem so many sequels fall into.
Right.
They were like, no.
Some people would argue that Bride of Frankenstein is a better movie than Frankenstein from Universal, the old Universal films, which is, I won't argue that. Happy anniversary to The Empire Strikes Back. I'm so glad we got to talk about it today. Thanks to everybody that called. Thank you, Alan, for being here and having fun with me every Saturday. It's
Till
always
next week.
looking forward. Till next week. That's right. It's BK on the air. Catch me on the podcast. And also, I'll see everyone next week. Nostalgic Geekiness Talk Radio run rampant. It's BK on the air.
Artu? Where are you? Artu? Artu? Artu, you're on fire! R2-D2, you found a cigarette. Well, I don't think smoking is grown up at all. Because it's very dangerous. Smoking does dreadful things to your lungs and is very bad for your heart. Well, I know I don't have one, but humans do, and I think we should set a good example. Well done, R2. Oh, hello. You know smoking is bad for your health, and it isn't grown up at all. So please, don't smoke. R2, do you really think I don't have a heart?